What's up, guys? So I thought today I would address a question that gets asked all the time on my stream lately, which is, what's the tier list for Season 3 of Dragon Ball FighterZ right now? People want to know, how is UI Goku looking? Is he top tier? Is he maybe not top tier? How are the other characters? Got a lot of buffs and nerfs. So I'm going to talk about all that and show you guys what I think of the current tiers for Dragon Ball FighterZ since UI Goku was added and since the Season 3 patch. So let me just get the usual disclaimers out of the way. This is purely my opinion. It's fine if you disagree with it. In fact, I want to hear what you have to say down in the comments. Let me know if there's any characters you think I underrated or overrated. And also, just to clarify, this is for like tournament level play. This doesn't necessarily apply to online or like the level of play that most people are playing at. Like, you know, for example, Goku Black, spoilers, I'm not going to put him that high on this list because at tournament play, the players are so good that it's really hard to open people up with Goku Black. He doesn't really have unreactable mix-up. But like at online play levels, at the level that I'm usually playing at online, Goku Black is pretty good because he's simple, he's effective, and like online, everyone gets opened up by Dragon Rush anyway. So don't feel like if I put a character that you like low tier, that means you have to drop them. This is just for super optimal people who are trying to top 8 Evo type of situation. So it probably won't matter that much for average Joes like you and me. But anyway, here's my opinion. Let's jump right into the list here. All right, so we're going to start out with the top tier of characters. And right now, I think the best character in the game is Kid Buu, okay? Kid Buu has been top tier like since day one, and he still is. He's got one of the best assists. He's got incredible mix-ups, ridiculous normals, good neutral. This character is just outrageous. Still, I think he's number one, the best. So let's move on. Number two, I'm going to go ahead and put Bardock. Bardock as a point character, like he's been more powerful than he is right now. They've nerfed some stuff about him over the years, you know, slight frame data nerf on Lariat, nerfs to his level 3 back in the day, but like they gave him B assist. His B assist tracks everywhere on screen. It's ridiculous hit stun and block stun, and it has normal cooldown. It doesn't have double cooldown like a C assist. So he's a really strong character with maybe the most broken assist in the game, so that's why I'm putting him there at number 2. Coming in here at number 3 here is going to be base Vegeta. This is another character that, you know, a lot of people considered him top tier before the Season 3 patch. He didn't really lose much in Season 3, plus now he has half bar EX teleport kick, which is a really ridiculous move to be able to do as frequently as he can now that it costs half a bar. So I think he really belongs up here. Amazing mix-ups, amazing damage with the loops, great neutral, one of the best ki blasts in the game. He's got a lot going for him. And pretty decent assists, but not amazing assists. But as a point character, I think he's definitely one of the best in the game. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and spoil the anticipation for people who are clicking because of UI Goku. I'm going to go ahead and throw UI Goku up here as well. I had a little bit of trepidation, like, is UI Goku really top tier, or does he just seem good? He does have like one pretty serious issue, which is that he doesn't have any 6-frame normals. So like his normals are a little slow, and in situations where you're +0, like after a blocked 6M, he can't really win that trade. But he does have 6H counter and his counter super, which are faster than 6 frames. So he does have some options in those situations, and like everything else he has is pretty ridiculous. His hitboxes are absurd. The hitbox on his 5A and just his auto combo generally is ridiculous. His 214H is a really busted move. His 236s are busted moves, the things where he like slides across the ground. Those moves are ridiculous. He has an invincible DP. He has a special wake-up option that only he can do, and both of those things he can make kind of hard to punish by using his counter super. He's just a really good character, guys. He's really, really good. I'm not ready to put him up here with these bad boys, but he's a really, really strong character. I've seen the light. I think he definitely belongs up here in the highest tier. He just has basically every trick in the book except for a 6-frame move. That's the only thing he's really missing. So next up here, we're going to put Z Broly. Z Broly is another character that like we've known for a while. I feel like that this character is really good. Maybe like the best neutral in the game. He's got great ki blasts. He's got great armor. His command throw, even though it's technically reactable, is hard to see. People still get hit by command throw, even at very high levels. But mostly he's just very oppressive with his armor, his projectiles, his huge normals. And he can set up pretty difficult mix-up situations to get out of. And he's got good assists, so a lot going for this character. That's going to be the last character that I'm throwing up here in the ultra top tier, god tier part of this tier list. So let's move on to the excellent characters. I'm going to say these characters are like broken. Maybe like if any character is going to get nerfed, it should maybe be these guys. I don't think anyone below this deserves any kind of nerfing. These are just the characters that I think are really excellent, like really, really good characters that will fill in a lot of the top tier teams. We're going to start out with Tien Gohan. Tien Gohan, man, that auto combo. That auto combo's outrageous. What were they thinking with that thing? He's got a lot of other stuff going for him too. Huge damage, very, very high damaging character. Pretty decent assists. He can be hard to block. His ki blasts are good. A lot going for Tien Gohan, but like mainly that auto combo is just ridiculous. Next up, we're going with Yamcha. Yamcha, one of my all-time favorite characters in the game. And I just think he's generally one of the best anchors in the game, one of the best assists in the game, works really well with every character. And he's pretty decent at neutral. His mix-ups are like okay, now that they've nerfed instant cross-up Wolfang Fist. His mix-ups aren't like that amazing, but he can be very oppressive with his ki blast, some of his good normals, and obviously the real reason you're playing him is for that ridiculous assist. Another really good anchor here is going to be Trunks. Trunks had a ton of hype this season, and I think a lot of it was justified. I mean, he got a beam assist if for whatever reason you don't want to use his A assist, which is also a really, really good assist. So now he's got 2 great assists. He can be hard to block as an anchor if you activate Sparking. That kind of makes up a little bit for the fact that his lack of mix-up is one of his bigger downsides, but his neutral, similar to Yamcha, is very oppressive. Change the Future is a hard move to deal with. And just generally, when he is on anchor coming in with the limit break, aka Z factor, and if he's still got Sparking open, very, very scary character to try to make comebacks. And similarly, his assists are really good too. So amazing anchor. I think these are probably like the 2 best anchors in the game right now. Next up, we're going to put Adult Gohan. Who would have thought Adult Gohan below Teen Gohan? But that's the world we're living in. But I think they're both excellent, you know. Adult Gohan's still hard to block with his fast fall. Still got some incredible normals, 2M, 5M, 5H. Still gets really, really good after he burns a level 1 to power up. Definitely just a solid point character who can also have a little bit of team utility with his assist that you can use after a blocked air-to-air super dash. Just a generally great, solid, excellent character who I don't think is quite broken enough to crack into this tier here. Next up, How the Mighty Have Fallen. It's going to be GT Goku. Listen, I fully believe that GT Goku has probably like a top 3 assist in the game. I think he's up there with like Bardock and Yamcha, like best assists in the game, and like Kid Buu too. His A assist is absolutely absurd. It wins neutral for you. I think the main reason why we're still going to see GT Goku played, even though he did lose a lot of juice as a point character, he's still got some really good stuff as a point character, but he did lose a decent amount. But like his assist is just so ridiculous that I think he will always be a relevant character until they either nerf that assist or maybe somehow make it redundant by adding another character who has just as broken of an assist, but we'll see. Next up, another amazing point character is Blue Goku. Blue Goku, you know, he's pretty hard to block, good command throw, extremely high damage, good normals. He's still got that Pro Tag 2M. They may have taken it away from Super Saiyan, but he's still got it. His only real downside, like, okay, his assists are not that good, although they did buff his A assist. It is a lot better now. But really, I think you're running this character for the point character potential, and I think if you're trying to just pick a really great point character, it's hard to do much better. I think he's definitely up there with like Adult Gohan, Teen Gohan. Really, really good point character. Really great at mixing the opponent up and converting it into massive damage. Another good point character here, though, is Cell. Cell, you know, he's been floating around high to top tier for most of the game's life cycle. His neutral is great. His mix-ups are maybe not like that excellent. People are getting really good at blocking Cell, but like he's just a generally really great character. Good normals, 2M, 5H, 6H. He's got that extra little low, still relevant. So yeah, like I know it's boring at this point to talk about, yeah, like Cell is still good, okay? People don't talk about him that much these days, but he's still good. Not that much has changed for our boy Cell. Next up, we're getting kind of into like the hot take zone here, maybe some less expected choices. I'm going to throw Android 21 up here. Android 21, another like massively damaging character if she hits you, plus she's got some pretty great normals. They just gave her a lot of buffs for Season 2, and I think a lot of those buffs still aren't like fully understood how good they are. I just think she's an excellent character and another like really, really great point character option. Next up, I'm going to throw Cooler up in this excellent A tier as well, or I guess S tier. Cooler is another character who's like very oppressive when you're blocking him. It's very scary. He's got a fully invincible DP. He's got that extra low, kind of like Cell, so his block strings can be really long, and it's scary to try to like match Reflect or something. And he's got the plus on block dive kick, which is nice. I think this character has a lot going for him. His only real downside is like he doesn't have any really great mix-ups, but kind of similar to Cell, right? Like neither of these characters are just like cracking you open with a ridiculous mix-up, but they are oppressing you with their normals, with their block strings, and I do think he's quite good at that. And an invincible DP is always nice to have. And then finally, we're going to put another kind of newish character, Kefla. I think Kefla is really good. She's got high damage. She's got good normals. She's kind of got like a Vegeto thing going, you know, and I'm not just saying that because she has like a multi-hit kick thing in her auto combo. I just feel like her neutral is really nice. She has good assists, and unlike Vegeto, I think she can open up characters a little bit easier and dish out that huge damage. And she has maybe the best level 3 in the game. Her level 3 has a lot of utility because it hits everywhere and stuff like that. So Kefla is closing out the S tier, the excellent tier. Next up, we're going to move on to the A tier, which I think are just the general good characters. These are just good characters who just aren't quite broken enough to make one of these top 2 tiers. We're going to start it off with the character I was just talking about, Vegeto. Vegeto's neutral is ridiculous, and the tick throw change where you can cancel a 5A into a throw on block, that did help him a lot. But I just don't quite think he's ready to crack into these tiers. I think he's a very, very good character, don't get me wrong. But I do think you kind of feel his lack of mix-up, like not having a fast low does hurt, but he does have some nice tricks to make up for it, like his 2A hops over lows. He's got that long-range 2M. He's got resets with his air command throw. I don't know. He's got some stuff, but I just don't quite think he's ready to make it into these top tiers. But I do think he's very excellent. Another character who I think is very excellent is Base Goku. You know, this character, he gets so much hype, and I really want him to be, like, really good. I just don't think he's quite there. He's got that Pro Tag 2M. He's got half bar EX command throw, which is a nice buff. His neutral is generally pretty solid. I just think that, like, his assists, though good, his assists are above average for sure, but they're not as good as you would want for a character who generally gets like a dedicated anchor slot because, you know, he gets stronger the more characters die. He can go well in the second slot too, but I do think the fact that he doesn't have like a reversal level 3 is a downside. He doesn't have a level 3 that you can Z change into. These are just some awkward things about the character, and I think his B assist is very overrated. You guys can call me out in the comments if you want, but everyone seems to think his B assist is good, but I think it's trash. You should never use it. You should use A instead, or maybe C if you want the beam and you're willing to put up with the C assist cooldown. But anyway, again, I think he's a very good character. I just don't quite think he has anything broken enough to be up here. Next up, we're going to go with Gotenks. Gotenks is another character that like used to be top tier, but he's lost some stuff, but he's still got amazing neutral. He's still actually pretty hard to block. It's pretty hard to block against Gotenks. And he doesn't do that much damage when he gets a hit, but he can, you know, do Ghost Oki and stuff like that, and his EX moves are very, very good, so half bar EX change helped him a lot. So I think he's generally a solid, good character, and he's a good anchor too. He's a good mid slot. He's a good support character. His A assist is still really, really good. His B assist is pretty good too. So yeah, solid A tier there is Gotenks. Next up, I'm going to put Majin Buu. This character is moving up in the ranks, man. Remember when everyone said Majin Buu was low tier after they got rid of his original Vortex? Well, now he's got a new Vortex, and it comes off of EX Fat Throw, which now only costs half a bar. And that plus, you know, he got some new assists to work with because his A assist was never that good. But generally, you're going to want to run this character on point. You're going to want to set up the oppressive mix. EX cartwheel, really, really good too. Helps him in neutral, being able to do that for half a bar. So Majin Buu moving up in the world. I think he's a very good character now. I'm also going to put Super Broly up here. Super Broly is like a little bit weird, right? Like his normals are on the slow side, except for his 2A, which is a very good normal. But generally, his normals are a little on the weak side. His projectiles are a little awkward. Like if you compare it to Z Broly, his projectiles are a lot harder to use. I think it leaves him a lot more vulnerable. But here's the thing about Super Broly. If he hits you, you die. If Super Broly touches you, that's a wrap. You're donezo. So I think you can't count out a character that operates like that. Plus, you know, his command throw is still pretty hard to react to. It's still pretty hard. And if you don't react, he just kills you. So watch out. And he's got big normals. He's got some, you know, armor stuff. Not as good as Z Broly, but he's got some stuff. Very dangerous character. Don't underestimate him. Next up, I'm throwing Captain Ginyu up here. Look, this is a bit of a speculation pick, right? I feel like we haven't seen that much Captain Ginyu in Season 3. He's not that well explored, but I think he has a lot of potential. I think now that he has a real level 3, that's really nice. And now that he has, you know, half-bar EX moves, a lot of characters got buffed by this half-bar EX move thing, and I think it helped him a lot too. Now he has some other assist options to work with. He never really has had good assists, so I'm going to go ahead and stake my claim and say he's pretty good right now. He's pretty darn solid. Along with Zamasu. Zamasu is another character where, like, I feel like the potential is there. The potential is there. If he touches you, he can kill you so well. He's ridiculous. But it can be a little hard to get hit sometimes. Neutral can be awkward. His normals are a little awkward. I get it. But, like, flight mode is pretty annoying to deal with. He can be hard to block. And when he touches you, he just kills you if you have the optimal combos unlocked. So I like Zamasu, too. I could see him moving up or down once he gets a little more explored. But, yeah, I like this character a lot, and I think he has a good amount of potential. Frieza is an interesting character. I think a lot of people thought Frieza was going to be, like, a huge, important character in Season 3 meta. It didn't really work out that way so far. I just feel like the risk reward still isn't quite there for Frieza outside of like that anchor position. I think as an anchor, he can be pretty dangerous because his A assist is really, really excellent. Really, really good assist in A assist. Plus, once he gets that sparking, plus golden Frieza, plus limit break, he can be very dangerous. I just feel like you're kind of committing a lot to run this character, and a lot of times it just doesn't work out because, you know, you don't have as good a normals as a lot of the good characters. He's more projectile oriented, and if they get around the projectiles and hit you, that it can be all over. But I think Frieza has potential. I want to see what people are able to do with this character because I do think that he can do some really cool stuff this season. I just think we haven't really seen it yet. All right, I went ahead and scooted this whole tier over because we're going to need to make some more room. Next up is Crillon. Guys, can you believe this? Crillon is a good character now. I have absolutely no reservations about saying Crillon is a very good character now. He's got a beam assist. That helps a lot. You can run him as a support and not feel bad about it. Half-bar EX moves, pretty decent buff to him as well. He's actually kind of hard to block now that you actually have to be scared of EX after image and stuff. The Solar Flare buff was kind of nice. He can convert off Solar Flare on hit. Solo now without having to use an assist, so that's nice. My man Crillon got some nice buffs. The Rock is so buff now. They buffed the Rock so much. So yeah, Crillon, you know, he's still got his same old downsides. Like his normals are kind of mediocre. His 2H sucks. He kind of needs assists to do a lot of mix-ups and damage, but Crillon is a very good character now. Do not sleep on my little bald friend here. Next up, we got Super Saiyan Vegeta. Okay, it's kind of a boring pick. Super Saiyan Vegeta, he's got a great assist. He's not that exciting as a point character. I think you should feel fine about putting him on your team if you want a good assist. He's a good character. Not much else to say at this point. Next up, Piccolo. Piccolo, this is another character. He's shifted a lot on the tier list. I think that the snap nerf just hurt him a lot. I don't really think he has enough to recover from that. Hell Zone is still good, but other than that, I don't really see anything super oppressive about Piccolo. So he's good. He's good, but he's not that great anymore. So that's why he's squarely here in A tier. Next up, we got Android 17. Is this a hot take? Do people believe me that Android 17 is really good? I'm kind of hiding him with my bald head here, but Android 17 is really good, guys. His A assist is a problem. His A assist is ridiculous, and he can be very hard to block, and he can do really good pressure. He's a hard character, though. He's very, very hard, and his neutral is really hard to play as well. That's the only thing keeping him from greatness, in my opinion. But I think the potential is there, but he's very, very hard. And, you know, again, kind of similar to Frieza, like, the risk-reward is maybe not there when you compare it to the really good characters, but I think if you're dedicated, if you put in the time, 17 can do some really amazing things. Speaking of hot takes, I'm going to throw Super Saiyan Goku up here. Listen, everyone thinks Super Saiyan Goku's trash now. I understand. The 2M nerf hurt a lot. It made a big difference, but, like, he's still just a solid, reasonable, good anchor. Like, you're not going to feel bad running Super Saiyan Goku Anchor. It's going to be harder than it was before, but he's still fine. He's still a good character. And then finally, Android 18 just barely makes it here. Android 18, I'm a big 18 fan. You know, I've been playing her on my main team. I do think she got some nice stuff from the patch, like half bar, EX command throw is nice. Half bar, you know, EX 17 setup where he drops the beam. That's pretty good for Oki. But some of the nerfs that she took throughout the previous patches, I think, are still kind of weighing heavy on her. She's a solid character. She can do pretty good damage, like pretty good damage when she gets a hit. Her assist options are more open now. You're not stuck with just the barrier assist. So she's good. She's good. But I think she's on the lower end maybe of this like good character tier here. So that's going to be all for the general good characters. Next, we're moving on. The slightly weaker character tier is going to start with Blue Vegeta. Blue Vegeta has generally had the issue, like the why play blue when base is so much better. I don't know. But Blue Vegeta, he's okay. He got some new assist options. He's fine, but he doesn't have anything oppressive. He doesn't have anything that's like, oh, I'm so scared of this move. Like, we look at base Vegeta. I'm so scared of EX teleport kick. Blue Vegeta doesn't have anything nearly that frightening. So, yeah, long story short, Blue Vegeta's still not that good, I don't think. Tien is another one I'll put down here. A lot of people get mad at me when I say Tien isn't that good, but I just don't see it. Like, I feel like his beam assist is not as good as most other beam assists. His beam on point is very, very dangerous. Super long recovery and not that much block stun. So I feel like neutral is always awkward for Tien, and he's not that good at opening people up either. Although half bar EX was a pretty good buff for him. It helps, but I still think a lot of his issues still plague him, being like his neutral, and it's kind of hard to open people up. Next up, we're going to put Gogeta. A lot of people think Gogeta is like one of the worst characters in the game. And I think he's not great, but I don't think he's like abysmal. His normals are not that good. That's the big thing. His frame data, I think, just needs a refresh because his moves are just too slow for like their hitboxes and what he gets off of them. And like his auto combo is pretty awkward. Gogeta, like I feel like most people have already said it better than I could. Like he just doesn't really have anything really good. Like Vegeto, his 5L is absurd. Gogeta's neutral is not anywhere near as good as Vegeto's, and I don't really think he has that much to make up for it. Although he does have an invincible DP, which is nice, but unlike, say, UI Goku, you know, he doesn't have any tricks involving the DP, like canceling it into a counter super. So yeah, Gogeta, I don't think he's like the worst, but I think he is probably the worst fusion character for what that's worth. Next up, Android 16. You know, this character has eaten the Nerf bat so many times since Season 1. I think once they made his assist a lot weaker, that's what really killed the character. There's not that much reason to play him anymore. I just feel like the Brolys are so much better than him, especially Z Broly, obviously. He just doesn't, I don't know. He's not getting it done anymore. They took away too much, a little too much. They went one patch too far in terms of taking away things from 16. And then we got Goku Black. Like I mentioned earlier, big problem with Goku Black is it's just hard to open people up with him. No unreactable mix-up. He doesn't have an air beam unlike Super Saiyan Goku, so his neutral is a little bit harder to play. But generally, like, he's got solid neutral. He's got a good 2H, obviously. He's got a good beam assist. It's just that it's really hard to open people up. It's hard to make comebacks. Yeah, you don't see this character very much at high level for those reasons. He just has a hard time competing with the other characters that also have a good assist. There's a lot of characters with good assists now. Now that every character has 3 assists, there's a lot more competition for good assists. So are you really going to play this character who kind of struggles to open people up? But again, I do think he's a great beginner character. He's a great online character. It's just at that high level tournament top 8 play, I don't really think he's getting it done. Okay, guys, I'm dumb. I just realized that I forgot a character. Hit is not low tier. You guys are probably freaking out. You were like, he's going to put Hit low tier, and I'm going to leave such an angry comment. Listen, okay? I'm going to put Hit up here. Let's put him like right here, okay? I think Hit is a solid mid tier, okay? I just forgot about him because I don't like this character. I never play him. Listen, Hit is a solid mid tier. He's got some stuff. I think half bar EX helped. Assist changes helped. Or like having new assists, I think helped him a lot. And he can still do a ton of damage, like level 7, all that stuff. He's got some stuff. Hit is solid. Okay, I'm sorry I forgot about Hit. Please don't riot. Let's move on to the low tiers. These are the characters who I actually think are in need of buffs. They need a little bit of help. We'll start out with Nappa to Clappa. Nappa, I've said for the longest time, like the running meme with Nappa that I've always said is he's like one of the best characters in the game once he's already hitting you. Once he's already hitting you, he can do some absurd stuff. So he looks really good in like combo videos and stuff, or like clips on Twitter. He looks really good in that circumstance, but his neutral is so bad. I think he's got to have like the worst neutral in the game. It's so hard to get in and force the opponent to block. It's kind of a nightmare. And his assists are fine, but not really good enough to run him outside of that point or second position maybe, so I don't know. Nappa, he needs something in neutral to help him. They should like buff his Ki Blast or something. He needs a little help. Next up is Beerus. Beerus has some stuff going for him as well. You know, he's got good damage. He's got an invincible Dragon Punch. He's got some things, but Beerus's normals just kind of generally suck. He's got like the worst 2H in the game. He's got like the worst 5A in the game. His normals are generally very weak, and that makes him very hard to play. But Beerus, he can do some stuff. I just think he needs a little help. Next up is Jiren. Jiren, I think, is a lot better than he was last season. I think the buffs actually did help a decent amount. There's just a lot more competition now as well. Like, the other low tiers got buffs too, for the most part. Not everybody, but... So, yeah, like, his command throw is just too slow. His counters are just too weak, too much risk for the amount of reward that you get out of him. EX counter is nice, but it's all blue health. Like, I don't know. I just feel like UI Goku, his counters are like so much better than Jiren that it's not even funny. The risk reward is so much better for UI Goku. And Jiren also doesn't really have any amazing assists. So, yeah. And then finally, worst character in the game, Videl. It's like a meme at this point. Listen, she doesn't have a Reflect. Reflect is an important move. It's like, imagine if you were playing a character and it's like, yeah, they don't have Vanish. How are you going to play Dragon Ball FighterZ with no Vanish? I don't know. But here's the thing, like, if they just overnight gave Videl Reflect, if they were like, oops, okay, we changed our mind, she has Reflect now, I think she would probably be like here. Or maybe like here, if we're being really generous. She wouldn't be that good, right? So imagine like already like a decent character, and then you take away their Reflect. Obviously, they're going to be really bad. So I really want to like Videl, but I think if they're going to continue going with this thing of her not having a Reflect, which I think is fine, I think it is possible to make a balanced character without Reflect, but they need to have some really good stuff to make up for the lack of Reflect. And I don't really feel like she has that. Like, her normals are generally pretty weak, I think. Her 2M really leaves a lot to be desired. Even though it's long range, it's so slow, and if it whiffs, you just kind of die. Her assist calls to the Great Saiyaman, those are pretty good. But like, I feel like you can't do them fast enough to really utilize it that well in neutral. Her damage is not that good. Her mix-ups are not that good. I don't know. I'm not feeling it, Videl. Like, why does she have like the worst DP in the game? Like, her DP is so trash. And she doesn't have a Reflect. I'll stop ranting. This is pretty much the whole list, guys. Let me know what you think. I know whenever I make these, a lot of people have a lot of dissenting opinions, which is totally fine. I just ask you, please be civil in the comments. You can express your opinion without attacking someone personally. So I appreciate you guys coming through and watching the video. I hope you found it enjoyable and informative. That's going to be it. We'll be back with more fighting game content in the next one. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.